All right, Nanny. Well, here we are already in interview number 4.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yes, it does.
But I did talk with some of the other grandkids, and they submitted some questions again, and Jamie and I had some for you too. But tonight's subject is the moon landing, and my first question to you is: when do you first remember hearing talks of going to the moon? Was it
Well, when we first heard it, it was almost unbelievable. We didn't know whether it would work or not,
right?
but it did, and I think all the neighbors got together to celebrate, and it had a big moon up above, a good fair night,
Yeah,
and we walked up and down the road and discussed it, and was very happy it did work. So,
right.
yeah.
So here's kind of a fun question. Did you know anything ahead of time? I know you had a top secret clearance, I guess, about this time. Did you know anything about it ahead of time, or did you find out when everybody else?
No, just like anybody else.
Gotcha,
We didn't talk about that on the base.
gotcha. Did you watched it live on the television?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, and so as you were watching that on TV, what kind of emotions were running through you? What were you thinking?
Well, it was just we couldn't believe something like that would happen. And we were very happy that it did work.
Right now, here's another interesting one because there are some conspiracy theorists out there who say that we didn't actually go to the moon, but that the whole thing was kind of staged on a film stage. What
Uh,
would you say about that? What do you think?
well, that's true with everything that happens. It's always for against. But I didn't believe the people that talk like that. I was all for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And was that kind of conspiracy theory, was that prevalent back then, or is that more as time has gone on?
No, it's more now, I think, than
Gotcha.
ever before.
Right. Gotcha. Um, and then, so I know when we landed on the moon, and obviously there was a lot of forward thinking with space travel and things like that. But would you have ever liked to have gone to the moon if you were given a chance?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd rather just sit back and watch.
Right. That's fair. And then, like, sort of to you, and maybe even as a country, like, what did it mean? What did it mean to everyone to see that on there? What did it represent, like us moving forward as a society?
Well, it put the USA ahead, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and we always did feel like the USA was the best in everything, really.
Right.
So,
You mentioned the neighbors. Was it just sort of an informal thing, y'all kind of celebrating in the streets, or what was that like?
yeah, it was an informal thing. We didn't plan it ahead, but when uh, the moon was so bright and beautiful, uh, I think some people went out to watch that, and then other people joined, and it kept on till we had a crowd.
Right.
So we all enjoyed that.
That would be kind of wild to think that what you're seeing on the TV with someone walking on the moon or whatever is you can look up and it's happening above you right there.
That's right.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, anything else that you can remember from that time period, or
Well, that was. I had gotten married then, and about 3 years after that, we had our first child, which was a boy, and then about 3.5 years after that, we had a girl, and we enjoyed watching them grow up. And I worked on the base then, and I decided I needed to quit work and enjoy my children.
Mm-hmm.
So I did quit. I went back on the base a little later, but uh, Bob was into sports, and we always thought it was a highlight with him pitching a perfect game, no hits, no walks,
Mm-hmm.
in Little League.
Right.
And that was in a championship game in Dublin, Georgia.
Okay.
And Jenny was into music,
Mm-hmm.
and she enjoyed playing the piano and learned a lot there. And I also learned to play the organ. And at a very young age, she started playing those musical instruments in churches.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoyed her being able to do that. And of course, Bob finished high school at Warner Robins High and went on to University of Georgia and graduated from there. And Jenny finished at Warner Robins High School and did her first 2 years in Middle Georgia College in Cochran. And after the 2 years, she got married and to Don Miller, and they moved back to Ohio, where Don was from, and he got out of the service at that time, and she finished her third and fourth year of college up there in Ohio.
Mm-hmm. So I know in July of 1969 was when the moon landing happened. Was Mom, your daughter, was she living here at the time when that happened, or was she at school, or?
She was living here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it would have been the summer as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we moved. We first moved when we moved from the country. We moved over here to Warner Robins on the north side of town.
Mm-hmm.
And we really didn't care for that house because it was on a corner and there was no backyard. And having lived on a farm, and my husband, Bob Sr., I could tell he didn't like it. So Warner Robins had a little newspaper at that time, and we saw a house for sale out here on this street. Well, this was still country out here then. There was one other street, and this street was in the process of finishing building new homes on it. So we first looked at a house across the street, and then we saw that this one was for sale. So we came over here and looked at this one, and we liked it even better, and found out that a pilot had bought this house, and they had never moved in it, and he was transferred. And we got in touch with him and bought it from him. So there was nothing around the house but weeds and trees. And so we uh, looked into cleaning the place up. And since then, we have built a lot of add-ons, added rooms, added a fireplace, made a double carport from a single carport, and we had the chance to take you, Wes, and Jeremy and enjoy the woods behind the house here.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably remember some of that.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember getting us lost in the woods a few times.
yeah, and you always said you knew where you were going.
I think I probably did. It was just a roundabout way.
Uh-huh. And we would go back there and have picnics and just enjoy walking through the woods, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Am I remembering correctly? When y'all were clearing off the land here, didn't you get bitten by a snake or something?
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that because it was so thick out there with weeds and everything, you know. I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to work the next day on the base, and my ankle started swelling real bad.
Mm.
And I could look down and see actually where two bites were down there.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband was working on the base too, so I called him to come get me, and he took me by a doctor's office, and the doctor told me it was a snake bite. So, yeah, I couldn't hardly walk though it got so bad.
So they feel like, I guess it was a venomous snake of some kind, but not one that would have...
Not that bad.
Right.
The doctor treated it somehow or another.
Right. Do you know what they did for you? Or do you remember?
I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I just know it healed.
Right. Well, anything else?
And along about that time, my daddy was living, and he would come out here on the weekends and eat with us, and I would fix him meals to take back to warm. And when he was 93, he passed away, and he left my husband all of his tools, and there were a lot because that was the kind of work he had done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my husband didn't have anywhere to put them, so he had to build a pretty big shop in the back and put all of my daddy's tools in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've still got a few of them.
Yeah, I remember using some of those as a kid.
Yeah.
And Granddaddy would, help us do shop work and things
That's
like that.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would, he and I would take you and Jeremy one day a week, and he would teach y'all shop,
Mm-hmm.
and I would do other things with y'all.
Yep.
And those were really fun times.
I remember you would teach art was one of them.
Right.
And then I remember one year you taught calligraphy.
I did, and also I kind of taught y'all to cook a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
And that would mean y'all would plan a meal.
Yep.
And let y'all do it yourselves, you know. And then we would take the next time y'all came over, we would, y'all would prepare the meal. I stayed out of it because I would kind of guide you,
Right.
you know. And y'all invited your mom and dad.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
We wrote down like a menu too, didn't we?
You had a menu.
Yeah.
You sure did.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's coming back to me now too.
Yeah.
Didn't you teach us? I know you had a typewriter. Didn't we do some typing as well?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure did.
Yeah. I can still remember the sound that typewriter made when
Yeah.
we were using it.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Well, Nanny, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I don't know. You got any more questions? Anybody?
Nothing
Yeah.
else moon landing related. So,
Uh-huh.
but I think you hit on something that would be the perfect thing to talk about next time. We could talk about. I know we could probably talk about this for a long time, but your dad. That'd
Uh-huh.
probably be a good thing because I know he's got a lot of accomplishments and things that he did over the years. That might be kind of fun to talk about.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us.
All right.